Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Concert Junkies, Rob and John. Oh yeah.
And we're live. What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
Hi, buddies.
Would you like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Dylan from The Coursing, and we're coming at you from Charlotte, North Carolina today.
Hi, I'm Dimitris. I play guitar in Warhammer from Greece, and we are from Athens.
That's awesome.
All right, my first question for you is, what do you want to leave as your legacy?
Nice question. Wow. Dylan, shall you go first?
My legacy, let's see, there is a lot that I'm trying to do. So I like to implement a thing called the tree branch. And it's like, my thing is there's a bunch of good music. There's a bunch of good different styles out there, and everything is, kind of like how it is. And some people like this and some people like that, and like some of those bands and artists get lumped in as like, to me, like leaves, and leaves are completely beautiful, like leaves are awesome. But my biggest thing is leaves fall off and they die, but I want to be that tree branch that sprouts off of like another tree, and like kind of like, limbs out and kind of keeps growing. So I just want to be able to be that one of those next bands that keeps that consistency for not just myself, but for everybody else that's coming up that's trying to, do this in the next, 20 or 30 years when those people are like kids. So it's like, they're like, oh, like the coursing kind of influenced me to do this and do that. That's kind of like the main goal for me, like as a musician, honestly.
Nice. In my opinion, because I don't want to speak for myself, I want to talk about the band as a whole. I think that what the others, for me, is best to remember us is that we are a band that doesn't use filters, that has no limits in its music, in its playing, and of course, no limits to where we will be able, let's hope, to play, because now things are difficult with the pandemic. Actually, to be honest, 2 years ago, when COVID-19 was not a part of our lives, we had planned to tour starting from Turkey, and the last show would be in New Zealand.
Nice.
Which is actually the half of the planet, if we can say, which I think is a huge thing for an underground band.
Absolutely. That is amazing. I couldn't even imagine playing a show.
So what I can say is that the others have to remember us as a bunch of crazy guys that have no limits.
That's kind of the best way, right? Honestly, That's awesome. That's very good. That's inspiring, man, for sure.
So how did you guys get your name?
Sorry?
How did you get the name of the band?
I didn't listen to the question, to be honest. However, I will try to answer what I thought I heard. I didn't find the name of the band. Was that what you asked?
I asked So how did you pick the name of the band? Is it from the board game or something else?
Not at all. No, actually, when I got in the band in 2012, in 2012 the band was established. We were high school guys, and we had no idea what this Warhammer game was. To be honest, I only played NBA 2K and FIFA on PC, so I didn't know about Warhammer.
That's
It was a strong name. We thought of it as a strong name. However, I wasn't the guy behind the name, to be
Okay.
honest. It was our frontman who couldn't be here now. So, what I can say is that I'm not the mastermind of the name. None of us is, since there's the game. However, we thought that there was no reason to change it.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, that's
Pretty good.
pretty good.
It's a very strong, like, in front of your face name as well, especially from, like, like over there where you guys are from. It's like us over here, we see names like that and like we're like, oh shit, like that sounds massive. And then like you get to like play on the stuff and that kind of helps your band as well. So it's like that's probably done nothing but give you guys good success too. Like as long as as long as the name's been going on. Like we have the kind of same kind of element kind of type thing that we try to do. Like with our name, we base like our like stuff off like horror movies and stuff. So that's where like a lot of our name comes from, our stuff. That's actually really cool, man.
And the best thing for our name is that people think at first that Warhammer could be a power metal band.
Mm.
It has an epicness. However, he will be caught by surprise. Everyone who will have a look at our work, for example, our latest release, for which we will talk later, I think, that has nothing to do with power metal. It's the funny thing, and why not? A small surprise for everyone.
So I
Why
got.
do you?
Oh no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All right, so question. So we were talking about the whole like pandemic stuff kind of like earlier. How were shows in your guys' area before the pandemic?
Um, I don't know if you have ever been to Greece or
Not yet.
ever seen a live show in Greece.
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
There used to be some DVD releases from some bands, only some bands, like Ice Death. However, I think that the Greek crowd uh, is one of the best in the world since it's really close to bands, it's very supportive, especially small bands from abroad. And it's something to remember. I think that if we were a band from the US, a small band that played at 300 people venue, it would be a night to remember.
That's awesome. It really is. That's kind of like over here. It's like we're like in the States, and like you could probably vouch for me too. We're so saturated with so many bands and so many artists that it's like sometimes over here, and this is pre-pandemic as well.
Yeah.
So many bands and so many artists be playing, and you'd have to pick sometimes between like 4 or 5 different venues, like where you wanted to go. So it's like a lot of some bands got like lost in the mix and stuff and got, like didn't really either one get a chance because there were so many bands that were already here that were playing shows that they couldn't get on a bill that night. But it's
Yep.
like I'm looking at it flipped from a different perspective where there's less bands but more quality of the band. And that's what I know personally from like a lot of other bands that are from out of the States, like in like the Ukraine and like England and stuff like that and a bunch of other places. They care quite a bit about what they're doing. And that's actually awesome to hear that the fans are actually more family oriented feeling and kind of give you that vibe and actually a huge support system. That's actually like really awesome, honestly.
It's true. So what you say is that the shows in small venues in the US, it's like the NBA draft. You will pick one of five or
Yeah.
six.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Sometimes
Nice.
it's crazy, but it's kind of cool too. But in the
It's not that
States,
bad, however.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's like it's quite nostalgic, kind of looking back from like whenever we were younger, and like like all of us grew up watching these like movies on TV and stuff where it was like a band that was playing and stuff like that, and you seen all these big crowds and stuff and everything, and I think that was like something that was kind of cool, like to like look back and be like, wow, well, like if they can do it then, it's kind of cool that we can do it now and still have this like connection with fans and stuff like that. And I think that's like the key to actually being in a band, because if you don't have fans, you don't have a show.
No.
So that's kind of what we're all in now in this world with the pandemic, kind of.
So do you have any fan moments, good or bad?
Dylan?
Fan moments for me, um, I've I've had most have been pretty good ones, and I've had a couple, my fair share of bad ones too. But those are, you know, sometimes not as great. But some of the good ones that like my thing is we actually just played with Metallica and Slipknot back in November. So it was like thousands of kids out there to watch a band that not a lot of people have heard from, and we're the only band from our state that was represented on this whole festival, which was kind of cool. And it's like the interaction with the like crowds and stuff during the show was so impeccable. Everybody was in harmony of everything that was going on. Excuse me. And then after the show, there was just a line of kids and a line of grown adults, just sitting there, just like waiting to like talk to a band like us. And that's actually really cool that, like we've went so far and beyond to do everything for what we've been trying to do to get to this point. And these
Yeah.
people were so welcoming, so there, so wanting everything. So it's like good when you have those kind of people, when those people care about, stuff. And like one dude was like, yeah, like I'm from Australia. We came all the way over here to actually see you guys play in the States. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. We've had people from the other side of our country, in California's on the far other side of North Carolina, where I'm from. So people from North Carolina came out to see us. There was people from other venues that we have played, like whenever we were touring, that had been like, yeah, like I'm from, like Virginia, West Virginia, and I came out here to see you guys today. And that's kind of really cool too as well. But there's also been some bad ones where, like people get a little fan crazy, and it's like I like every interaction with the fan, no matter what it is. But sometimes there's those, belligerent drunk fans that
Yep.
kind of come out and they're like halfway on you, and they think that they like, know every single solitary thing about you and stuff, because they're also drunk, and that's awesome. I'm always down for somebody to have a good time, but sometimes, people step over the line and, they say some things that they don't really want to, like mean, and stuff like that. So it's like sometimes it's kind of hard to give them the best representation, when they're like completely left field. So those are like the bad ones to me that like I would say where like they can't really retain that's going on here. I feel
Yeah.
bad for them, because we probably could have had a good time if we were both, cooling it out. So there's goods and bads. I've had my
Sure. Actually, if I uh, can do a small throwback, I think I would go with the fact, for example, that uh, in 2019 we headline a show in Serbia in a town called Niš, which is about 3 hours from Belgrade, the capital city of Serbia. And what what made me think that there's no way to give up, there's no turning back since you started doing this stuff, is that there were guys that told us that I had seen you 3 years ago in Novi Sad, which is a town approximately 4 to 5 hours from Niš, and I wanted to see you live. I didn't go to work. I took the car and came here only to see you, to have a word with you, and it was fantastic. I would also go with a crazy moment in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, where we went in 2019 again. Oh, what a year! In 2019, where we played in an overcrowded venue, small venue, about 200 people, which is fair good for a band that is in the Greek underground. It's the other side of the world, so no problem at all.
Hmm.
And it took us about half an hour to get off stage, to get to the backstage to change, because it was so overcrowded. There were so many guys all over us trying uh, to get a photo with us, to say a good word, and I think that it will be much time uh, to live these situations again. Not only because of COVID, but because it's not an everyday activity to get the plane from Greece to get to Latin America or the US, which is our main goal for this year. What else? Uh, Other than these, I can also think of fun moments with you, not with a funny moments, which I think will be a topic later.
That's awesome.
I have many to tell
Awesome.
you.
Hmm.
Pretty good. So
S-
you guys do like do you guys have any other activities that you guys do like aside from, like playing music? Like do you guys do anything else like, work on cars or like paint or, have like other hobbies that you guys like to do together besides play music together?
Ah, uh, Look, actually, me and the frontman of the band are friends since junior high school,
Wow.
since the time we were 12, 13 years old.
That's awesome.
Now I'm very old, I'm 25.
I'm 26, so I feel you.
I'm not saying how
Like
old
our
I am.
frontman, Hercules. He's also 26.
Oh,
And uh, we hang out together. We don't do something special together other than music, other than talking at least an hour a day on the phone about the band, and sending demos to each other and ideas and whatever one can think.
mhm.
Uh, we all have our own hobbies. Other than working, uh, I usually read books. I listen to music, to other genres, because I do not only listen to metal. I'm also into the Greek folk music.
Mm.
Okay.
I also play the most common Greek folk instrument, which is called bouzouki. Have you heard of bouzouki?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice. Uh, and And I also play the live shows with cover bands, with Greek folk bands. However, now I do not play live since music is prohibited here in Greece due to COVID-19.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're can't play
government
anywhere.
measures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of like how the UK was for a while too, because they couldn't do anything at all. So like with that going on, like, do you guys still get up and actually do rehearsals and stuff, or like are you guys kind of like banned from doing rehearsals and stuff now too?
Um, to be honest, we rehearse uh, mainly when we are going to tour or play a show everywhere.
Oh,
For example, in April, we will make a small tour with Batushka, if you know
oh,
them. in uh, in the Balkans, in Romania, Bulgaria, and Greece. So I think that in about 2 or 3 weeks we will start rehearsing.
Cool. That's
That's
awesome.
cool. That's awesome.
However, we are in a good situation since 2 months ago we we were again on tour in Northern Europe, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, England, Belgium,
Mhm.
and the Netherlands. And we also played with Batushka and
Mm,
Belfegor. So we are in a good shape, I think.
awesome.
What we do now is uh, something like a pre-production where
Mhm.
uh, we have some demos, some new ideas, and who knows?
Mm. So, how does the writing process go with you guys?
In writing music.
Yeah.
Um, what happens usually is that our frontman, which is also the rhythm guitarist, uh, has an idea, me or him. Uh, all music is written by us. However, we are now in a situation where we have a new drummer who used to be a session member in the previous tour in November, who also plays guitar and has ideas. So uh, the next releases will be a mix of all those bunches of ideas we have,
That's
and
awesome.
we will
That's
see
awesome.
how it goes.
Yeah.
And one good thing also is that our sound guy uh, is also a friend of ours. He's like the fifth member of the band. He plays saxophone, and in the album we released 2 months ago, the third album, he had many saxophone parts,
That's cool.
and he has an overall contribution, and in the pre-production, and in playing his parts too.
Mm,
It's interesting because he uses saxophone with distortion.
mm. That's awesome. That's genuinely cool.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. So with the
It's
new
a nice
record,
combination. Saxophone with these black and death metal stuff.
I love that. You would like us then, for sure.
Sorry?
You would like us then for sure. We play with like keys and symphonies and stuff like that too. You would like us for sure.
We also have a piano part in this
Oh,
album.
that's the
nice.
best. Get that real eerie sound over top.
Yeah. And now we're going to use more strange instruments for metal. They're not strange whatsoever, but it's not usual for a metal band to use something other than keys, maybe drums, guitar, and bass.
Hmm.
Why not?
That-
So what's your favorite song off the new record?
Oh no. Nice question. Let me see them. I also have the CD here. It's our new release.
Oh, awesome. Amazing.
Awesome.
Hmm. Maybe my favorite song from this album. Uh, can I tell a few words about the album or not yet? Not yet. Okay, got it. I think my favorite song is the last track, which has a piano intro
Hmm.
and a lead saxophone part together with a guitar lead at the end of it. Uh, and I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I really like this track. I have no problem with the others too, to be honest.
Of
I
course.
don't want to say that there are 10 tracks in the album. uh, of which I don't like the half of them. It's not true. I like them all. However, I think that the last song, called Quandary, is the most different and the most versatile song we have ever made.
That's awesome.
And I think it is the only song that everyone contributed, from our sound guy to our producer, who played the piano part, everyone.
Hmm.
Maybe uh, we can say more things about the album later.
Yeah.
You can keep that my favorite song is the last one.
Okay.
Hmm. Let's see. If I had to say off of our new record, um, I, my favorite kind of like I'm not gonna say depend on my mood, but every song has like a deep like meaning to what I'm trying to like get out like as a vocalist and try to let you. I'm a very like closed off person, like personal life, but if you come see me at a show, I'll tell you everything about me in 35 to 45 minutes, show or whatnot. So my favorite songs you depict my mood, but probably on this next record that we're about to drop here now, there's a track called "Fill the Void" on there, and it's kind of like basically about there's people in this world who have to do life and have to carry on, but everybody's got that one thing or that something that they have to do or they have to utilize to keep moving. So like whatever you need to survive, to be you, you have to do that. So that's kind of my thing for that song. And that one being like fill the void is like, we all have something inside of us and we try to utilize what we know is best for us to be able to get that level or that triumph of whatever we're stuck in front of. So definitely like whenever the album comes out, you'll be able to hear like a really personal, in touch feel on that song as well. And there's also like a guest vocal feature on that song as well, which I'm really, really psyched about. So that's going to be really nice for everybody to grow.
Can we have a little goose egg on who's on that record?
We can't disclose
Okay.
the
Oh,
sign and tie stuff. Yeah, but
Okay.
it's going
spoiler alert.
to be really cool. We may end up having on this first record that we're dropping, we may have that one feature, but we have two or three other ones that are lined up for you that I think are going to be really cool as well for people. So it's like at the time frame we try to make all this happen and do everything, it's going to be really cool to look back and see that. And I think that's what also adds to the song "Fill the Void." So pretty cool.
Well, Dylan, I know your answers, but what is top 5 bands you want to play with?
Sorry, top five bands that.
Top 5 bands you want to play with?
Aha. Food for thought. Um, nice question. Hmm. Okay, I'll have a try.
Okay.
Uh, maybe Behemoth,
Okay.
which is also close to our style.
That's amazing.
The genre we play the last 2 years, because we didn't start as a black and death metal band. We used to play thrash when we were youngsters in high school, but now we don't. Um, hmm, five bands, which means that we have to find four more. Um, Emperor, I would say. I'm a fan of Vision.
That's awesome.
Um, Ooh, that's trouble.
It's always hard to five, but
For sure, it's more than five, but it has to be five specific.
exactly.
Because I also think of bands of a different genre than ours,
Yeah, awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's the same too.
which is not bad.
Mm.
Mm, hmm. Uh, you, Dylan? I
I,
need one more name for this.
yeah, mine's kind of a mix. Like Slipknot's number one for us.
Yeah.
Always, no matter what, I'll be 100 years old if I make it to 100. Millions of bands could have come out. Slipknot will still be number one, honestly. That I'm a big like Blue October fan, so they're like
Oh yeah.
kind of sad rock kind of type, but they make you feel a lot. So it's like that's what I'm about is that feel. Um, as if I was to branch it out across the countries and everything like that, I would play. Like I'm a big like a Rammstein fan, so I would really like to play with them. That's also another one that I think would be kind of cool to be in the different countries and play with them. Um, some from over here. Well, like I love Corn. Corn's just
Yeah.
ridiculous. Corn's just one of those bands that like threw the foundation for a lot of things that like I do and that I listen to, and a lot of people before me. Man, Corn has been there for sure. T810 is one of my favorite bands of all time. They're like very in depth with who they are as people, and as far as they represent their city and who their like culture is and like what they do. So that actually is something that like I really appreciate a lot. So they're kind of a big one for me too.
I think I've made up my mind.
Okay.
As I said, I would go with Behemoth, Emperor, Opeth.
Opeth is good, yeah.
Yeah.
Meshuggah,
Yeah, Meshuggah, nice, but it's something completely different. However, I admire the work ethic and the fact that they have influenced almost everyone that has chosen this path of music. Um, I don't know. I would also go with something different. I would go with Epica, for example, which is also a band that personally admire for
they're,
both their work ethic and their releases and everything.
they're
The fact that they have a very special frontwoman,
mm-hmm.
very special, and Epica, and I have to find one more. Uh, I recently found a band. No, no. I would go with something totally different. It's one of my favorite bands, but they're not the classic metal act. I would go with Porcupine Tree.
Porcupine 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
I
That's
really
an
like that.
that's an
It
interesting mix.
it would
Okay.
be a dream for me to be in a festival and be 3 slots down, for example, or 2 slots down.
Yeah. See, festivals are like where you get those opportunities where you can be in that same realm with some of your favorite bands like that and get treated, like in that same realm as them. And that's like, honestly, that's like kind of what it's about too. Like I go back to the tree branch thing. So like that's the start of the tree branch. Like some people will come to that festival and be like, like I see Warhammer with, Epica and like Behemoth was on the bill, man. That's gonna be, like amazing. People are gonna remember that forever.
Sure. However, I think that you created a huge problem since I will be thinking which are the best five bands for me to play with till I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Since there are also bands that are not bands anymore, they have disbanded, and it would be a dream come true to watch them live, actually, not only play with them. I would love to be able to see Nevermore, for
Mm.
example,
Mm.
or I would love to be able to play since that's one of our secrets. Some years ago, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, uh, we would go on tour with Children of Bodom.
Oh wow, that's
Oh
amazing.
There was
wow.
there was a slot, yeah, and we didn't go. Actually, I think the tour didn't happen whatsoever. However, it would also be a dream come true. However, it's not possible right now since Alex Lyo is not here with us. Very influential band. Many children have picked up a guitar due to this guy and these guys in general. I respect them a lot. Although I'm not into this melodic death metal stuff much. However, it was one of the first bands that got me used to the harsh vocals. Since I like the music, uh, I told myself that it's okay, you will get used to these vocals. And since I got used to these vocals, it was easier for me to get into the other genres.
Yeah. I think bands kind of branch out for us as artists and kind of open our mindsets too as well to what's also out there. And it's like a really heavy band could influence you to listen to a really not so heavy band too as well because you understand the context that go into making that, you know. So that's actually pretty cool too.
True. For example, when I got into Children of Bodom's music,
Mhm.
I also got again into classical music,
Yeah, classical music
Yeah.
very peaceful to me.
which is great. I don't think that Alexi had that in mind when he was 15 or 16
Mhm.
when he started the band. However, it's something huge. I cannot get myself into this way of thinking. It's something huge. Wow.
That's awesome.
So if you weren't playing music, what would you be doing?
Ooh. Uh, that's a nice question.
Mhm.
To be honest, I have not only studied music. I have also studied finance, and I also have a 6-hour job. I'm not only into music.
Oh,
However, uh, it's a question that has never been done to me. So congratulations.
Hmm.
Um, what can I say? I don't know. I don't like to use the word if in life, since that everything happens for a reason, and since things would be different if something else happened. For example, I think that the reason that I'm into music in many genres, not only metal, not only rock, and everything around it, is that I was brought up in a family that my father had about 6,000 records and vinyls and LPs,
oh wow.
Wow.
many different types and genres. So uh, I got into many things from a very young age, and uh, the fact that he pushed me to start playing guitar. He also he played classical guitar as a youngster. Uh, the fact that he used to push me since I was about 8, 9 years old is the reason that sometime when I was 15, yeah, 15, I picked up my first guitar and started playing. So I don't usually use the word if you if you get what I mean.
Oh, for sure. That's awesome. That's a great mindset.
Why not?
So another hard question: what was the best advice you were ever given?
The best?
The best advice you were ever given?
The best advice I have ever given to anyone.
That you were given?
Or ah,
That somebody gave you?
hmm. Uh, I think that it has to do again with the word if. There's no if. I think that it's of no use to think about what life would be if there was no COVID, for example. If something else had happened, not only about COVID, for everyone, for himself, his way of life, his daily routine, uh, what he does for a living. So I think that the best advice that I have been given, which is not actually this way I was given, if I could put it down in some words, it would be that history is not written down with ifs.
I like that.
That's really deep.
That's the first quick thought I can have.
That's pretty on point. I have high respect. That is awesome. That's the best way, honestly.
What about you?
Best advice that I've ever been given. I've had a couple different mentors in my life, and stuff like that, and things that have come and gone. But my biggest thing is like, as far as being an artist, the best advice that I've ever been given is that we're all entertainers at the end of the day. Like, as far as playing music, like as far as doing this, it's like our job is to be an entertainer for these people. And it's like, yeah, granted, it may be for us and it may make us feel some way and the way that we do whenever we're playing. But at the end of the day, some of those people that are there to like watch you or listen to you, like, it's everything for them. So for us, it's like we have to do our job and remember that we're completely entertainers at the end of the day. And that can break down every barrier for you that's sitting in front of your face. So whenever things go bad, you kind of got to remember, hey, like, I'm an entertainer. This is what I'm supposed to do. And sometimes that actually pushes you out of a bad like mindset or a bad headspace, because then you're always driven and you're always pushing towards what you want to do, and that is be that entertainer, be that person for somebody else or for something else. So that's kind of probably my biggest example that I give for the best advice that I've ever been given.
Yeah, because a gig would mean a nice Friday evening for you, but for someone else, maybe it's something way more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what it's about. Um, if you could play with any other bands that are in the States, like, I don't know if you listen to a lot of bands from the States, but if you could play with any bands from the States, who would those bands?
Uh, nice. To be honest, I would really like to get on stage again with a US band that we hung out with when we were on tour with Belfegor and Batushka. The other support band, it's a band called Almost Dead.
Almost dead. Oh,
Okay.
I
that's
don't
awesome.
know if you have heard of them.
That's awesome.
The guys are from Chicago and Bay Area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
We really had a great time together. It was 12 or 13, 12 or 13 unforgettable live shows, many moments together, many difficulties since we were one of the few tours that took place in this situation 2 months ago. Actually, we played in the Netherlands with lockdown, with seated people,
Okay.
which is an experience to remember for
Yeah.
sure. Other than these guys, yeah, who actually are an underground band, but they're a bunch of great guys. The US. To be honest, I like the US stage, but if I could go with something close to our genre, it would be. I think they're American. Don't blame me if they're not. I think they are. Kind of. It's a band called Wolves in the Throne Room.
Wolves at the throne.
Yeah, I think they're from the States.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Okay.
are.
See that's pretty good. That's a pretty good one right there. That's cool. Hey, we have a shout out right here. That's Scars Remain down at the bottom. We appreciate you, Scars Remain. Y'all some
Yeah, we
awesome people.
do.
If you haven't got a chance, check out Scars Remain too. They're a really good band from over here, like on our side of the east coast of the country.
So when you're in the States, what's the first thing you do? Is there any places you like to eat in the States that you don't have, or
The first thing would be to hang out with Almost Dead. I'm joking. It depends on the city because it's like 52 different countries.
Mm-hmm.
The states are huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the towns and cities in Greece or the other places in Europe. It's actually like 52 different countries. I think that every state has its own style, its own character. I have never been to the States. I'm talking uh, regarding to what I have seen from Google and movies.
Mm-hmm.
I have never been to the States. It's a goal for us. It's the third
Yeah.
time I say it. Um, I don't know what I would do first. Maybe the first thing I would like to do, but it's a bit difficult if you are on tour. I would like to do a road trip to get across these huge deserts with the saloons and the cowboys. uh, the the things we see in Western movies.
Yeah.
okay?
That's awesome. Very cool.
This Route 66 stuff. And
Yeah. I got you. That's pretty cool.
I think I'm into it.
That's awesome.
It's a life goal. Sometime,
Yeah.
maybe. We'll see.
Mm.
Hope I'll make it. However, it's very difficult for a European guy to get to the States. There are many difficulties.
Right.
Actually, for you too to get to Europe.
Oh yeah. It's very
Yeah.
rough right now. We're actually trying to plan some things now, but it's like nobody knows what to do, and everything. It's like, especially right now. So it's like, excuse me, it's like now it's like a long term
It
thing.
takes about 2 or 3 months to uh, make it with all the bureaucracy and the visas and the embassies and
Oh, wow.
but I can understand since we metalheads are villains and criminals.
Yeah.
And lock up your daughters and all this.
Pretty good.
So would it be a working visa if you came out this way?
I don't know. We will figure it out if we manage to make our plans for the States. I think that the first thing we have to solve is to transport our instruments, our merchandise, and all this stuff. I don't think that we can take them together on the plane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hardest part. What like a lot of people, they'll like contact the other that they're going to play him, and they'll get in touch with somebody that can help moderate the finances, and they'll just some equipment like from there they bring all the stuff across a different country stuff as well. So makes it a little bit, but a little bit more pricey sometimes too.
We'll see.
That would be cool.
But doesn't some venues have house instruments?
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel weird
Uh,
playing somebody else's?
Many venues have everything that has to do with rig. Maybe some venues have cabins, a decent drum set, and the drummers have to bring on their own stuff together. But I don't think that a venue uh, can provide you everything. The guitar you play, the sound you have as a band. There are many things that one has to take into account.
Mm-hmm.
We play metal, so most bands, especially when we talk about extreme metal, do not use standard tuning
Mm-mm.
for their instruments.
Not at all.
For example, we play in drop C,
Oh, okay. We play in G sharp.
G sharp,
Yeah, so it's very low. Like we actually don't have bass, so we're just vocals, guitar, and drummer.
G sharp with 6 string guitars.
7.
7. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
We're pretty deep, you know.
Wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's heavy.
Yeah,
G sharp. Wow.
it's different for some people. It definitely takes it to get used to, like octave wise, but it's actually very, very comfortable once you get into it. It brings more like distinct, deeper and darker tones like into your stuff. Like we're big like Chelsea Grin fans. Like I don't know if you heard of Chelsea Grin, but they're like in that like dark element, kind of like the same vibe that like Motion White would put out for like eeriness in the background, kind of like Slipknot too. So we kind of take that kind of side and like mold our sound to like the weirdness and the eeriness and that like that scared feeling that you could feel, you know. So like Behemoth too, well, like they do a lot of that stuff too. I actually just seen them um earlier last year with Slipknot, and that was actually like
I
amazing.
think that Behemoth play in C sharp.
C sharp, yeah, yeah. They're they're so wonderful live, man. Behemoth has a show that like only a few can like hold a candle to it. I mean the show, the whole show. They pyro, they got everything out here. They kind of look like gods, you know, and that's kind of the coolest thing too about them. And they hold their character to that. So
In the concept, yeah.
mm-hmm.
Although I'm not into these Satan related stuff, uh, I think that we've had enough of Satan and and all this. However, there are some bands that have their own character, although they talk about Satan. It's okay,
That's okay.
and they're magnificent. I think that Behemoth do it the best way.
I think so.
When it gets to those satanic Phrygian stuff,
Hmm. Hmm. I would like to see like Brimstein, Behemoth, and like Cradle of Filth. I would really like to see that tour. That would be something that would be mind blowing. I think, honestly, that would be really cool.
That would be an interesting show.
Mm-hmm. Cradle of Filth. You like Cradle of Filth?
Yeah.
I respect them. Yeah.
They're-
Oh no, that's the first problem. I I have some throwbacks, and I think I have to to make another best five list.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
I forgot Lamp of God, for example.
Oh
Shit.
man, Lamb of God's
Yeah,
heavily influenced us.
Machine Head.
Machine Head's good to go.
Okay.
I would do it all day, so no.
Did you like Trivium?
Let's get rid of that question. It's tricky.
Okay.
You ever heard of Trivium?
Um, to be honest, I prefer the In Waves period.
Me too.
However, I respect them because at this moment it's one of the most popular bands in metal.
Mm-hmm. They're doing it the right way.
Sure, and if I'm not mistaken, either they toured or they are going to tour with Heaven Shall Burn, which is also a mind-blowing band. And I think that this tour is out of my mind.
That's awesome.
Have you heard of Heaven Shall Burn?
That's awesome.
We have to agree that we are very good at talking about other bands.
Like I think that's kind of where it comes from. You know, that's how we
Yeah.
got to do everything that we're doing as artists, and it's the same way. For everybody here, to be honest. Like if it wasn't for the music, like we wouldn't be giving this interview by amazing concert junkies over here. So
Thank you.
that's actually like the biggest thing is like it's a whole collab. Music changes all of us, so it's like it's kind of hard not to be fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and not only of our music, metal and all this extreme stuff.
Exactly. So, what was your first tour? What was your guys' like first tour like?
Our first tour. Um, I wouldn't say our first tour. I would go with the first shows abroad, which was not a tour, but it was four crazy guys that had graduated from school, had an email from a barman in Serbia who got into our music and told us that it would be a great idea if we came all the way to Serbia to play in the venue he worked in. He was the barman of the venue, the first venue we played in Serbia. We have a special relationship with Serbia. We have played there 5 times, and we have also organized a Balkan meeting of bands. There were bands from Greece, Serbia, Hungary, Croatia, Northern Macedonia. If I'm not mistaken, it was 17 or 18 bands, 3 days of metal, Uh, Too many things in our minds. However, it was 3 days to remember. As for our first show, uh, we got in Serbia on a bus,
Mhm.
17 hours of driving. If I remember well, we were 17, 18 years old. And the thing is that we we played there for the first time. It was sold out. It was not that difficult to have a sold out show there. I don't think that we had 2,000 people.
That's awesome.
No way, no way. However, I remember the show since it was something very different, very different. It was something we could not explain or realize why so many people from another country came to see a bunch of Greek guys who existed for about 2 years and only had a demo mm, and a badly produced first album. Nice experience. And the thing is that on the way back, we would go to Thessaloniki and have a live show too. It's a Greek city, if you have heard of it. Uh, we had an accident with the bus. It was about to to turn around. Bad experience.
Hmm.
And we played. We were about 40 hours without sleep. 40 hours, yes, I'm
Cool.
not mistaken. And what was really impressive is that our gear, our instruments, cabins, and all this stuff were on the bus that had turned round, if you get me.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
It was about to fall into a huge hole. I don't know how to say it. It was just a huge hole, about 8 meters deep.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, all our gear was in there, and the gear reached Thessaloniki with another bus half an hour before we got on stage.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah,
Sometimes that happens.
it was a divine intervention from the god of metal or something. Ooh,
Good.
yeah.
You appreciate shows like that though too, still, especially when they go bad, still makes for
Actually, you appreciate every moment you have on the road,
there you go.
since it's moments that you wouldn't have if you had a plain routine, 9 to 5 work, and all
Mm-hmm.
this. To be honest, maybe I wouldn't have all this experience. For example, we have slept into airports, into train stations for cancelled shows.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we have experienced something really beautiful in Malta about 3 years ago. We played in a festival with Kara Hangren, if you know them, from the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best black metal bands there. And what I remember is that when we got into Malta, uh, the the organizer, the guy that managed the festival, had booked a different hotel for us and a different hotel for the drummer. Also, he had booked different flight tickets back to Greece for each one of us.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah, my flight was uh, 12 p.m. Frontman was 1 p.m. Drummer was 3 p.m.
Oh wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Mm.
Actually, if I remember well, the drummer had stayed one more night in Malta, and the distance between the hotels was more or less 20 kilometers.
Mm.
One wouldn't go on foot to get to the hotel.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, it was crazy.
that's wild.
Yeah, this island has too many drugs
Mm,
that are accessible to managers.
that's pretty
But
good.
however, it was one of a kind since we played in a medieval castle. The backstage was a prison. I also have photos. It's crazy. Uh, we had the perfect sound for uh, for the venue. It was an open air fest. It was in May.
Mm.
It had about 600 degrees Celsius.
Oh wow.
That doesn't exist, but you know what I mean. It was too hot,
Mm.
uh, but the experience was great. Now that I am thrown back there from the convenience of my living room and don't have to experience that again, I think. And I say to myself, oh man, it was nice, no problem.
Yeah.
However, at that time, it wasn't.
Mhm. Mm.
Too many stories.
That's all right though.
That's okay.
Too many
All right.
stories.
All right. I do this every episode. I'm gonna let you guys turn it on me. You can ask me anything.
Oh, there you got some questions for him?
Ah,
I'm saying we're gonna turn it around. He can ask us.
All right.
okay, why not? First question. Pum pum pum. Um, how did you get into our bands? What made you think that, I will bring the guy with the hat and the guy with the jacket to my podcast?
You guys were suggested to me by somebody else. I started listening to you guys maybe a couple months
Oh,
ago.
draft pick, NBA.
Somebody mentioned you guys to me a couple months ago. So I
Okay,
figured to reach out.
good for you and for us.
Yeah. Got a good mix here. Let's see. You got a question for me?
Hmm. Okay. Uh, I don't want to make these too usual questions.
Yeah.
For example, what's your plans for the future? Okay, everyone asks them.
All right.
Uh,
Plans for the future right now for us.
no, I just told that I wouldn't do these
Oh,
plans right
okay,
now.
okay.
What's your plans for the future?
I was sitting there like, dang, what are we doing right now?
However, of course, you can talk about your plans.
Yeah,
It's your band, it's your story, so why not?
yeah.
Uh, However, what I would ask you is, um, what would you like to know? If we used my favorite word, if,
Mhm.
as I said half an hour ago, what uh, what would you like to be the result, the the things you do, don't know how to say it, for your band in 10 years? Let's uh, let's say that you could travel uh, beyond time
Mhm.
in 2032. What would you like to see as far as your band is concerned?
Ooh,
Your,
that's
your goals,
a good one.
if you have made it.
In 2032, my big that would be a good 10 years difference for us. And for a band like us, if we were to be able to, like I say, like I would like in 10 years to probably have at least a good 5 records done. I would like to have been able to have knock off a lot of those other country tours that I really want to do. I really want to try to do that really quickly, as quick as we can get back to the real world. I would love to tour in other countries, and my biggest thing, I'm a tour for other bands, but like more bands that we make a bond with and kind of make a connection with, and kind of see how they are as people as well as musicians is kind of like my thing. I enjoy playing with the bands just as much as I love actually interacting and talking with other bands, and stuff. So I would love to be able to say, like in 10 years, we're the major headliner for your, modern day festival stuff. Like I would like to be at like, Awaken Fest or like Download or like, like Welcome to Rockville or like Rocklahoma and stuff like that. I would say that I would love to be one of those bands that's right there or almost right there at that like headliner stage for those fans. Like I think that would be a biggest thing, and it's not for me, it's for those fans. So that way it would be really nice to see 200,000 people out there that feel the exact same thing that I'm trying to give back to them. That's kind of the goal in 10 years.
Nice. Got you.
We got some time. And
so you have 10 years time.
Yeah.
You can start. But beware, time flies.
Absolutely.
Time does fly.
Yeah. 10 years will be here like that. It'll pass by real quick.
It's a very scary thing.
Mm-hmm.
Very scary.
That's why we got to appreciate everything that we have now, so that way when we get there in that 10 years, we can look back and be like, like I'm proud and I'm glad that I did this.
Yeah.
Leaving a legacy.
Nice. I've got one more question for both of you.
Okay.
Why do you both wear hats?
That's a good one. Okay. Well, one, I'm bald.
Same here.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm bald, and my whole like gimmick on stage, like I wear like face paint and everything else, and not like these deep hoods and stuff. So it gives that like vampire-esque kind of like feel to it, Nosferatu kind of type deal. So, but I like to wear the hats in public and stuff, so it like you can't put that together and be like that dude's that dude.
Yeah.
I like the incognito where I could wear my hoods, and nobody knows who I am at all.
Okay, vampire. Edward.
It's pretty much.
I feel you on that. Like I've always worn a hat. Like even when I wasn't bald, I always wore a hat.
Too much light was shed now.
I'm the same way. It's just easier. Like I think being bald in general, because I used to have like really long black hair, and I would like sleep on my stomach because that's how I sleep, and it would just all be in front of my face. I'd wake up and just the whole mess of shit in my face. I'm like, nah, I'm done with that.
Yeah. I feel you on that.
Yeah. Plus now that'll be long hair and big beard and stuff, and I don't have any hair, so
yeah,
it works out.
So you're not into Amon Amarth and all this religion stuff?
No, I like it. I definitely like Amon Amarth and stuff like that. I just like me, like it kind of puts me in like a different element. When you see all these other like big mainstream metal bands with the long hair and swinging, and like my guitar player has long hair and swings at everything, but you see a bald dude up there that looks like a vampire, you start to have some questions. That's kind of like, the cool thing about who I am, you know.
Nice.
Okay, at this time, do you want to plug anything at this moment?
Dylan?
Right now, go follow the coursing on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok. We're about to start doing that. YouTube, we're doing that. We just got a bunch of new like video reactions and stuff up there, so got some new stuff. Worthless, our second song just dropped 3 weeks ago, so we got a brand new music video on that as well. Check that out. And I'm gonna drop it here before I tell anybody, and drop it as well, because I was talking to you, Rob, about this before. But I'm actually starting up my own like vocal lesson camp, and like a business marketing plan camp, and also a booking and touring show platform as well for other like rising artists and stuff like that who want to branch out. So like if anybody that you know, or if anybody watching here wants to be a part of that, I'm gonna start that up here and let that be announced. This is the first place that it's actually announced, since Rob actually asked me about that the last time that I did an interview.
Yep.
So it's coming, Rob. It's already on the way.
All right. And for you, sir, the new CD, where can that be found?
This is our new CD. I don't know if there's too much light shed on it. It's our third album. It's a concept album called Ashes and Cinders. And one can find it if he sends us a message, or one can check out the market of Drakkar Productions, our label. So check it out. Many to come. Right now we're working on some music videos that will be out in 2 months' time, I think, I estimate. And we're working on new ideas, working on the upcoming tour with Batuska and Diabolical from Sweden. You should definitely check them out. And many to come. It will be a very, very busy year.
I would like to thank you both for your time, and I will talk to you both very soon.
Absolutely. We appreciate you having us, for
Have a
sure.
great day, guys.
Peace out, y'all.
Thank you.